Hello YouTubers, and welcome back with part 3 of the weekend update. I just thought I'd mention a little bit about cryptocurrencies. Of course, they're all becoming the rage. It has become really a new asset class. I opened up a Coinbase account this last June. Fortunately, I almost opened one up the previous June. I got halfway through the application and decided not to follow through because I was still learning some of the terminology about hard forks and all that type of thing. That was a big mistake, as most of the Bitcoins that I was looking at probably on average went up 10-20 fold. Some I think around 30 fold, so 10,000 investment would have turned into a couple $100,000, which those opportunities don't come up very often. Anyways, I did decide to, I did get my Coinbase account opened. I went with Coinbase in the States because it seemed to be the most, one of the biggest and most reputable, and they do have insurance on your holdings in the account. And there's been a lot of risk. The Mt. Gov incident a few years ago where people's Bitcoins just basically disappeared. So, but it continues to grow, and there are some aspects of it that are quite interesting. Again, I really don't know a lot about it, just starting to really learn. It's not my main focus, and there's a lot of videos on YouTube now where you can, people that follow this fully, and you could probably get better information there. But I'm just mentioning here, as I said, I would mention some other asset classes like gold and silver. And to some degree, from what I've read, I see Bitcoin as kind of a modern day electronic gold. Just the way it's been set up, there's quite a genius in a lot of respects on how it works and continues to work and develop. Basically, the number of Bitcoins that will be produced is limited to 21 million, and the rate that they're mined is kind of controlled by the mathematics. Is the miners, which is kind of, you know, they even use the term mining as if you're mining a commodity, but it's mined electronically now. As the mathematical problems get harder and harder to solve, it makes it more and more difficult to mine new Bitcoins. So then you have this kind of control in the growth of this currency, and it has some efficiencies and advantages, I think, to the fiat currencies. One, it really drops out the middleman. It's totally decentralized currency. There's no Federal Reserve Bank or control mechanism in the middle. Basically, you have the ledger, and that ledger is distributed maybe to hundreds, thousands of computers, and so there's that transparency there. If one node was to disappear, it's going to be on another node. So it seems that it would be very hard to shut down and robust unless the internet came to an end, or electricity, but we'd have a lot of other more problems at that point. So it's also good for transferring money to third world countries. Small amounts can be transferred. The fees are a lot lower than, say, doing that through Western Union. Process is quite efficient. You can even on your Bitcoins, you can even download your own private keys and have those totally out of any system. But I decided to keep mine with Coinbase. It's a little bit easier as I start to learn this. So I basically, when I did open that account, I've just been buying the big three, which is Bitcoin, I bought Litecoin, and I bought Ethereum. Just because I think there's thousands now of different cryptocurrencies with all these ICOs that initial coin offerings that have been coming out. Most of these I think will go by the wayside, but we've got Bitcoin now up to, with a market cap, I use this site here, World Coin Index. It's pretty good for getting a quick overview, but we see as of right now we've got Bitcoin up to $95 billion, so that's getting to be quite a substantial amount of money. And we've got that followed up by Ethereum, which is 32 billion, and we've got Litecoin at 3.47 billion. We also have Ripple. It's about 10 billion, and again, it's a little bit risky. We don't know if at some point the central powers and governments might be totally threatened by this. We've already seen that a bit in China, where they've trying to shut down some of the exchanges. But this is Bitcoin. I think has 400 developers now, very intelligent programmers, and even in that, there seems to be ways of getting around it. There's satellites being launched now that you can communicate directly from your house up through a satellite dish to the satellite, and still be trading the Bitcoin, and I don't see how the government would have oversight over that. So we got this a little bit back and forth. China, when they announced that, it really hit the price of the Bitcoin. I think it went down to like 37 or something. At the same time, one of the CEOs of the leading American banks, Jamie Dimon, came out and said it was a fraud, and he would fire new employees if they traded Bitcoin. Again, this is a bit ironic when we've got the major banks in the USA were basically bailed out by the taxpayers, and all the fraud that was involved in the 2008 crisis. Plus, it was at this time that the white paper came out for Bitcoin, which is kind of unusual. The depth of the last crisis is when this technology really kind of emerged and gained a foothold. And it's nice to see the younger generation actually having something here where they can get involved with. Typically, they know more than the older generation, and some of them are actually getting quite rich. And there's a lot of innovation now that coming out of this. So I think it is an asset class now that I'm going to have to learn more about and follow. And again, I just just buy small amounts and distribute it. Before I was just putting basically the same amount in each week, but now I think I'll follow the charts a little bit more on it and see where it heads. I bought Ethereum because it's kind of based on the Bitcoin technology, but they've added, this is my interpretation, kind of a software layer on top. So now you can do smart contracts. If you were selling a product to another company, you could set up a contract. So when this material is received, like scan through a barcode, maybe it automatically sends the payment. It's all registered on the blockchain. The blockchain can't really be changed, and it kind of makes it quite concrete and efficient. One of the founders of that is a Canadian, Vitalik Buterin. He went to the University of Waterloo, math, and dropped out, and has been behind a lot of developments in Ethereum. Its price has gone up a lot, up to $400. I think it's dropped down to about $180. It's quite volatile. I think a year ago, it was only like $10 or something. But I see now with the move in Bitcoin, we're also seeing it kind of draw up Ethereum. We've got Ethereum today at 345, and we're also seeing Bitcoin up to 320. Litecoin at 65. I think Litecoin did get up to 80. I've read some reports on the internet that Litecoin might go over 100. Again, this is all very speculative, but I think it is an asset class that continues to grow, and I think it does offer some unique characteristics in that it is completely decentralized, like the internet originally was, and the internet seems to be, to some degree, being taken over by you know, the monopoly powers, the large corporations, and maybe this will decentralize the internet again, which I think is good for, you know, personal freedoms, personal control, and just innovation that's coming out of this. So, anyways, that's all I really got to say about that. Like I say, there's a lot more on the internet. On my site now, I've added on the right-hand side some of the other sites I follow for specific types of news. There's IMS Trading there with Lynette. She's very good on providing a different point of view on currencies, gold, Federal Reserve. There's a Box Mining one that's pretty good that gives a daily review on the cryptocurrencies, and Wall Street for Main Street also has quite a few interesting articles, videos. So there's a lot of good information that's getting out there now. It's not always kind of followed in the main media because it's new or maybe a little bit outside of what they normally follow. Anyways, so thank you for, if you made it through all 3 parts of this weekend update. I'll try to do this on a weekly basis, and maybe 1 or 2 reports during the week on an interesting trade that I'm looking at or did. So anyways, thank you for viewing. Bye.